Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Show. Today is October the 11th, 2020. Strong hand, long-term thinking. Unconfiscatable Bitcoin's next Bitcoin. Do not accept a new normal. Fitting in is overrated. Personal responsibility is new counterculture. Deferral gratification. Conviction. Offended by selling. All right, dudes, you're in the golden age. Hello, my elite friends. Now is your time to ask questions about any subject matter because this is beyond Bitcoin. We're talking about more than cryptocurrency. We're talking about life, baby. We're talking about what's going on out there in the world. So type in BitcoinMeister or send a super chat to catch my attention, and I will answer your questions. That's the only way I can see it when I'm doing a live show like this. Yesterday, we had a very special show about Bitcoin jobs. Check it out. It's linked to below. This Week in Bitcoin was awesome. All of it's at disruptmeister.com. Follow me on Twitter, TECHBALT. I'm not just saying that. It's the center of the Bitcoin Meister ecosystem. You can learn a lot there. I've been giving you some videos where I'm teaching you about real life stuff. We had a jobs one. We had a how to be a unique beast one last week. So they're all linked to. Please watch them and play them at 2x. That is important. So we like to talk about politics, or some people like to talk about politics. Some people have become obsessed with the presidency, with the executive branch of the United States government. Here's a reminder that there's a legislative branch also, okay? Okay, the Senate, the Congress, they're forgotten. And if you think government is important, then you got to remember these dudes. And these dudes have been they've been horrid lately. They don't do anything. Well, they do worse than doing nothing. Is they pass things that are completely they're a rubber stamp. They're a rubber stamp nonsense. Okay, but it could be worse. And Lindsey Graham has a reminder for all you in the voting class out there. It's not just about voting for president. Want to know what's at stake this election? If we lose the Senate, Socialist Bernie Sanders will become Budget Committee Chairman. If we hold the Senate and I am reelected, I will be Budget Committee Chairman. That's from Lindsey Graham. So yeah, I think you guys can get the picture. Either you get this rhino guy, Lindsey Graham, in charge of the Budget Committee, which is a very important part of the legislative branch, or you get Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders handling the people's money, basically. Yeah, that. And so no, Bernie didn't become president. No, so you're really happy he didn't become president, but it'll be okay if he's in charge of the budget committee. Okay, yeah, all right. So yeah, the legislature sure can be important, and you never know when it's going to be important again in terms of government. It's just a reminder there. It's not just about president, and most people don't even know there's three branches of government in the United States. They totally disregarded the Supreme Court as just a political tool of the president. It's just so people are lost from the way the system of government that the United States was set up with is a beautiful one, but it's been perverted to say the least, and who knows what will happen next. But hey, have that Bitcoin, have that strong hand. You really don't have to worry about that stuff. And pound that like button. Stay safe. I see all these signs that say "stay safe." Stay safe. People like to say "stay safe." This wasn't the way it used to be. I mean, this is the part of the fear, PORN, noise. Okay, versus the glorious risk of life. There's a risk. Life is a risk, and if anything can happen to you. And that's how you become successful. You figure out the risk, you judge it in your head, and you decide how to proceed. And there's all sorts of people proceeding with all sorts of so-called economic risks, whether it be Bitcoin or whatever it may be, and they're doing it great. But we're in a society in 2020 that has plunged into weakness, okay? Stay safe equals stay weak and compliant, okay? It totally That's what it gets people to do. Stay safe and stay in your house. Stay and hide. That's weak. That's weakness. Don't deal with the real world. There is anything. There's always, you could trip on a crack on the sidewalk and crack your head open. I mean, that's a risk. Life is so hiding and just putting safety as the ultimate. There's nothing more important than the safety of every single person in every single moment. We must worry about the smallest of possibilities. That's what stay safe is. And literally, the government sponsored signs and radio advertisements out there. But so I don't like it. And to me, I see stay weak, stay compliant. That's what it is. Risk. There is glory, there is excitement in life, and that is what risk is intertwined throughout everything we do in this glorious life, in this golden age. There is no golden age if there is no risk. If everyone stays safe, okay, there is no progress. Regulation, we're going to talk about that in a second. Regulation is all about safety, okay? Regulation stifles any progress and any innovation. So keep that in mind. So we're going to hang on. I see there's questions. Hey guys, retweet this. There's a lot of you watching this live right now. I just put it out there in the live chat. So yeah, no one's typing. People are chatting, but they're not doing it. If you have questions, I cannot see it unless you do super chat or type in BitcoinMeister. Okay, my elite friends, let us move on to the regulatory aspect of the show. I know some of you just love those regulations. Ugh. Deregulation equals innovation. Deregulate the United States economy and prosperity will exponentially increase. So what does Caitlin Long have to say here that inspired me to think about this? Food freedom. Only in Wyoming do you see Republican and Democrats working together to deregulate food supply chains to allow local farmers / ranchers to sell directly to consumers locally. Buy a share of a cow directly from a Wyoming producer. Okay, so that's only the food level. Okay, amazing. Wyoming, the Republicans and Democrats aren't trying to make the others seem like villains. They want to have progress. They want their people to be success. So they get rid of regulation. The farmers can directly sell to people. How ridiculous is it that in most states you can't go up to a farmer and say, "Let me buy your milk," or "Let me." No. The government has to have a say on what is safe between the farmer and you. I mean, bring it back to the 1800s. I mean, that's what you did. You bought directly from the farmer. But we've lost that, and so Wyoming has gone back in that direction, which is all about that. And so it gets rid of food waste. If let's say a farmer has some ugly fruit, ugly corn. I don't eat corn, but ugly vegetables. No supermarket will buy from you, okay? Because of the way it looks. This happens. So they throw it away. That is total waste. They make no money off of it. Here, the consumer gets a choice. Like, oh, yeah, I'll buy that ugly looking apple with the bruise. If it's half as much as it is at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, or a fifth as much as it is there. So on that level, you see on a practical level in a state, bureaucrats and politicians not getting in each other's way, trying to actually just let freedom ring. Imagine if anyone could open a bank. Imagine if anyone could open a business where they sold Bitcoin, a Bitcoin exchange. Imagine that. If you didn't have to worry about the government going down your neck, breathing down your neck, okay? There would be so much financial innovation. So it is a reminder, good for the deregulation in Wyoming, but just scale that up to the United States government in everything that the government has its fingers in. And we would have so much economic progress. But it boils down to fear. It boils down to stay safe. The government, just these elected officials, they don't want to be blamed for anything. The smallest of thing, if someone got a cold and dies, they don't want to be blamed for that. They think they're going to lose their election or something. And we have a voting constituency. The professional voters, they bought right into this, that safety. Let the government take care of me. Let the government take personal responsibility is new counterculture. That is the reminder that you get from all this. But in the mainstream, it is all about staying safe and being compliant and letting the government decide what is safe for you. It's sickening. So over in another country that is filled with regulations and horrifying bureaucrats, South Africa has the world's worst youth unemployment. Oh, I wonder why. This job matching site wants to change that. So, by the way, I haven't linked to all the articles yet below. If you're watching this live, I'll get to it sooner or later. All right. It's a CNN article. So here's my, if you have major youth employment in South Africa, here's a simple answer. For the youth out there, you know English. If you don't have a job in South Africa, get on your computer, buy the Bitcoin, do not value your wealth in rands at all. Start up your own Bitcoin-related business, Bitcoin-related clubs. Get on the Bitcoin. It is your connection to the outside world. And older South Africans with children that have no jobs, just do not value your wealth in rands. Start saving in Bitcoin, and you won't have to worry about youth unemployment at all. But I'm sure part of the youth unemployment is because of in South Africa, they have their job regulations are incredible. I mean, the affirmative action programs they have for every single bit. You have to hire this many women. You have to hire this many minorities. You have to hire this many handicapped. I mean, it's wild. So I'm sure that has a chilling effect on the employment market. And it's not going away soon. So that's why I'm just telling people, get into Bitcoin, start your own Bitcoin related. Watch my show yesterday about Bitcoin jobs, okay, South Africans. And it's glorious that your native language is English. That is the language of Bitcoin. And it opens you up. You can make so many connections in this golden age industry that I am so proud to be a part of. Now, here's something from the president's son. This is a speech he made. This is the first time in American history when you get in more trouble for opening your business than burning down someone else's. Yeah, that sums it up. Pound that like button. Now, as all of you know, I'm on BitChute at BitcoinMeister. I learned recently, I've talked about this before. If you post a BitChute link on Twitter, and you click on it, it warns you saying this site is dangerous, even though BitChute isn't dangerous. Even if you send a BitChute link over DM, they do that same thing. They mark it as spam, apparently. I was told by someone I sent a BitChute link to. By the way, the BitChute link that I sent this person to is the one video of mine, the April Fool's video of mine that got kicked off of YouTube. You may have remembered then I was off of YouTube for 2.5 months following that video, where I made legitimate predictions about what would happen in Los Angeles eventually. Very, very interesting. Anyway, the BitChute is linked to below, and you can find that April 1st video I referred to at the BitChute BitcoinMeister channel. And yeah, I mean, I walk the walk. All you guys say, oh, YouTube and Twitter are horrible. Get on an alternative platform. I'm on BitChute. I'm on Parler. Now it's up to you. And I check those sites out like every freaking day too. And we're talking about S. Mully is over at BitChute, and he had a very interesting video that I'll talk about at the end of the show. SM, he's a philosopher that got kicked off of, his last name sounds like Mully. He got kicked off of YouTube. And yes, so please. And does anyone have any questions about yesterday's show or today's show? We have misinformation is putting a lot in there. Okay, Joe Pepsico. Joe Pepsico, you sound like someone my father used to know. My dad knew a guy named Pepsi Bill. But my family was in the vending machine business. What are your thoughts on China expansion and threats to Taiwan? I talked about it a little bit last week about China on the show. Not their expansion ways, but how they are trying to, through the virus, they are trying to manipulate other governments and other people into being scared so that they can progress. They created the entire, lockdown narrative. They made lockdowns legitimate, and so many countries have bought into this. And they promote it over social media. And the name of the guy, he escapes my mind, who talks about this all the time. I talked about him last week. So watch Michael Senger. Michael Senger talks. He's no fan of China, so follow them. But you had a more specific question. The threat to Taiwan, I have been to Taiwan, and that is a line that cannot be crossed. It cannot be crossed. I don't see them crossing that line. That would be bold. But if we keep on, if all the nations of the world follow the China pattern and become more and more authoritarian and follow their lead, they will be more sympathetic to China. There are people, there's so many screaming Karens out there that love a government like China that just steps in and takes away your freedoms for safety so everyone can stay safe. So eventually, if everyone gets used to that way of life that China is promoting through social media, and again, this virus thing is real. It's a real thing that people can catch. It's not for healthy people. It's not serious at all. But for it's a real thing that came out of China, and they took advantage of a crisis to spread their way of life all over the globe, to make it legitimate, this centralized authoritarian rule. Okay, and so. Now there's all sorts of countries that are like they're in line with that. Yeah, we like that. Now it can get worse. It can get worse. So that's why we have to speak the truth about what they're doing, how they're manipulating the world, and how freedom is so important. Freedom is much more important than this ridiculous paranoia about safety. Okay, all right, and so we can't. If you keep on speaking the truth, they won't be emboldened to try to take over Taiwan. But they have no right to Taiwan at all. I've been there. It is beautiful. That is freedom. That is close to capitalism. I mean, they've got regulation also, but that's the way all of China should be. That is true China. Taiwan is true China. The other China, it's the same people, the ethnic people living in both on the little island of Taiwan and in the big behemoth of China, but they do things differently, okay? And in Taiwan, they do things more like we do in the United States, how we currently do it. So God forbid China tries to do that. That is one thing that could start a tremendous war, just something very horrible. And so that's why all of us have to stand up for freedom and stand up against the lies and paranoia that is out there revolving around this virus situation, what we're living with current events. And I think maybe this will be enlightening to some of you to see how all this is connected, and that it could, if we just blindly say, oh, it's all right. What's wrong with just wearing a mask? What's wrong with it? It's, you give in an inch at a time, and then all of a sudden you've given in a foot, you've given in a meter, okay? You've given in a mile, and the whole world's changed. And we're on the verge of it being totally cool with most countries that, why not? China's the best. Let them get their island back. No, it's ridiculous. It's not, they're not the same. Taiwan should get China. How about that? That's what I think. All right, China. If we keep speaking the truth, China won't be able to hold their billion people back. Okay, they won't be able to. Maintaining that authoritarian rule it takes skill. It takes work. Okay, and by letting them get away with everything they get away with letting them spread their narrative all over. They have an easier time doing it. So the people, they have technology over there where they can hear the truth, okay? So we got to keep speaking the truth, all right? Shane says, the great Shane Ulrich says, strong hand, brother. And brother, it's great to see you in here, man. You're you're only one time zone over, man. I can feel you over there. I hope you and your family are doing great. Do you believe in God, says Cass 8. Yes, I do believe in God. I do. And we can get into a tremendous discussion about that, but I'm Jewish. I believe in God. Okay, moving on. There's definitely there's some, you search for meaning in this tremendous universe. What brought about this universe and our awareness? It's very odd. So yes, there's a Adam's scientific reason for God. No, I'm sure a lot of you can argue about it, but the simple question was, do you believe in God? I do believe in God. All right, now, so Joe PepsiCo, we answered your question. All right, what do we have here? Next on, and I'm glad you guys are asking questions. I lost my track. So we're talking about fear as a tool of manipulation. The media uses it too. Here's a CNN headline. We are all deeply afraid that this is the beginning of that dreaded second wave, says ER doctor. This is the headline. This is the biggest news of Friday or Thursday. I forgot what day it was. This is their headline. They are so into this story and this narrative. Says random ER doctor. That's what it should say. But yeah, I mean, you can get anyone to make a quote that you like, and then you put it in big words. Yeah, okay. Dreaded second wave. How much emotion, how much fear do you guys want? I mean, to tune into CNN. Obeys, on the other hand, and by the way, in the Bitcoin space, there are guys like me, like I can't even think of people's names anymore. What's his face, the Lebanese, and like Francis, and that have been speaking against this the entire time. Okay. That is speaking against this narrative the entire time. Tone Bays was scared at first. He was scared at first, and then he changed his mind. So I would say out of all the people, he's the best one to listen to on this because he was scared at first, and he rationally, because he was in Africa when it started, or I think he was in Asia. He came back. He was scared. He saw what was going on. He went through. You can learn from him. He had a natural reaction to all the hysteria that was going on, and then he thought about it. He used his head. And he saw it's totally ridiculous. And he's as vocal as the rest of us now. So he's better than me to listen to on this, perhaps, because he changed his mind. But you could say about some of us, well, you guys are just stuck in a certain mindset, blah, 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 blah. He wasn't stuck in a certain mind. He was one way. He turned his, and so he says, the saddest thing I see out my car window is 3-year-old school kids being socially distanced and forced to wear masks while in school. And he says, end the lockdown. While in the schoolyard. And that is pathetic. It's pathetic. I mean, if you don't have a problem with sending your kid to school and having him play in the playground, and he's forced to wear a mask, it makes no sense when he's playing with other children. It's disgraceful. That's how compliant people have become. That's how scared they have become. Do not fear. Do not fear. Meister is here. Pound that like button. So there is a Ben Shapiro. There's some polls out there that one poll I thought was ridiculous at first, and then I changed my mind. There was a poll. Who would you vote for? Kamala Harris or Vice President Pence? And I was like, well, what kind of question is that? And it was really close. I think Harris won by like 2%. I said, well, that's not how you do this, dudes. You vote for president. I mean, they're not running for president. You don't vote for vice president separately. It would be nice. I think in the old days, it was different. It was different at the founding of the country, wasn't it? Well, that doesn't matter. The point is, though, I thought about the poll, and I said, wait a second, this is an interesting poll, because there are people out there that theorize, and I am not buying into this theory until it can be proven to me, that there are all these scared voters, shy voters out there, that when they're asked this by someone calling their house, they don't want to give the truth because they don't want to be tracked. Now, these are the same people that give away all their private information on Facebook and on the internet. They don't care about privacy whatsoever. But supposedly these same people don't want to say they're going to vote for Trump. So they lie. And that's why all the polls are skewed toward Biden. Well, this is a way to get around this, to show, well, who do they really support? Do they support Trump? Or do they support Biden by saying, I support Pence or Kamala? And so Kamala barely won that one. So for all you people that are obsessed with Trump, there you go. Maybe that gives you hope there. Another thing that might give you hope, Ben Shapiro brought this up on his show. There was a poll out there which said, are you better off than you were 4 years ago financially? And it was pretty overwhelming. People said yes. And under such circumstances, it's very rare for an incumbent president to lose. When there was such a large percentage of people that said, and I don't have all the numbers in front of me. So Ben Shapiro said that was a positive. So again, for you dudes that value your wealth in Trump, there you go. There's your interesting polling of the day. So yeah, there's a thumbnail up there of a girl. Like, so 3 weeks in a row for Beyond Bitcoin, I put pictures of me with women I've known through the years. I wasn't going to do it this week, but Taval Dakres and someone else like encouraged me to say, hey, what the heck? They're big fans. I'm going to give them some more women because there's plenty of pictures of me with women in the past. That woman was the woman that's with me on the thumbnail of this one was incredibly hot, incredibly good looking, and I tried my best. I failed. I was unable to progress with her at all. I wasted no money on her. That was good. I got her into this pretty elite party in Baltimore that I had connections to get into, and man, and when I would take her to like the auto bar, I mean, there are people staring. I mean, she was hot. I mean, it's vicious. I mean, the way guys have become, it's just like there's no respect for another man. You see a man with a woman, you start staring at the woman. Like, I mean, this is the guy's woman. I would always respect. Yeah, obviously, that's not how you. Unfortunately, that probably isn't the best policy. It's disgusting how that's gotten. If you really, well, you don't want to get a woman. That's how disgusting it's become in the dating world. You just try to steal another man's woman. That's terrible. It's terrible. So I'm glad I'm not involved with that type of stuff anymore. I value my wealth in Bitcoin and not beautiful women like that. But yeah, that woman, she moved to Los Angeles eventually too, and she's married and probably has kids now or something like that. I don't know. But she was multiracial. Her mom was a Brazilian, African Brazilian, and her dad was just a pure white dude, as white as you can get. But she was beautiful, beautiful woman, and very, very an interesting person, interesting to hang out with. And anyway, so but there's your story. And no, I failed. I can admit when I failed with most women, but I've done well with quite a few myself. But but value your wealth in Bitcoin. Better to succeed with Bitcoin than fail with beautiful women. Okay, now, I mean, there's a time for everything. There's a time for. I understand you can't control those hormones. You 23-year-old dudes, go, do what you gotta do. Party on. It's a shame that the 21-year-olds are being restricted. They should be in college. College is just just such a fun time of partying and womanizing and everything. And now that's like you can't even touch it. I mean, you'll get sent to you'll get expelled if you tap a woman on the shoulder. I mean, that's considered you're spreading some cold that doesn't. No college student has died of that cold. None. I mean, it's amazing. But we'll get to that in a second. Now, something I noticed because of the golden age that we live in, and I thank God for this. We have people that are between 70 and 85 years old that are so healthy that 30 years ago they would have aged much faster, and now they're in great shape. I mean, my mom. I'm not supposed to say how old she is. The people, family members that are in their very, 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 very early 70s are just they're still working. They're just doing great stuff. But at the same time, because they're healthy, they have a lot of time on their hands to worry about not being healthy. Okay. And so I think because of the fear porn that's out there, these people 70 to 85, they're really buying it up because they're scared. They don't want to end up like the 70 to 85-year-olds that they were used to back in the day, when they were 40 to 50 or whatever. So that's a lot of them have blown all their savings and they have to still work. But it's good. Their bodies at 80 years old, they can still work if they have to. Buy some Bitcoin 80 years old. You're never too late to do it. Here's a tweet from Jordan Shattle. He's good. I like him. The virus is largely only threatening people who have off the charts BMI and nursing home residents. Okay? Killer virus, not so much. The real killer virus is our obesity epidemic. Pound that like button for that. Lessons. Take responsibility for your own health. Personal responsibility is in your counterculture. Stop asking the government to protect you. They can't. All right? So, yes, obesity is the real virus. Obesity is the real killer. You can handle that. You can do it right now. I see people running, and I see people trying. Eat healthy, and just stop asking the government to protect you. They can't, and you're going to end up real bad shape. Legend on 99 said, don't value your thumbnail in women. No, you shouldn't. I only do it for the Beyond Bitcoin show. I throw the women out there for the entertainment purposes of of you guys. So should I continue it? Should there be a fourth week in a row? Do you want to see another woman from my past? And would you like one to be one that I failed with, or one that I succeed, or was it somewhere in between? Because when I say succeed, I mean, hit the home run with, because that's always fun. I mean, do you like the different ethnicities? I can show you an Asian one if you want to. I haven't shown you Asian yet, have I? Well, who's the first week? The first week was Eric. Who was this? No, yeah, two white. There were two whites. And now we have a multi-ethnic here. Okay, so there's a nice one of an Asian that I failed with. You can see that. Okay, moving on. What do we have now? Oh no, I went to the wrong one here. And value your wealth in Bitcoin, dudes. But every once in a while, you get some thumbnail entertainment here, if you wish. We can end it if you want to. I'm leaving it up to the people. Leave it in the comments section what you want. So let's talk about Baltimore real quick. There's some amazing government interference going on there, talking about regulation. The Labor Committee passes an employee retention bill. So what's that mean? What's that mean? That the Baltimore city government is telling private businesses how to hire people and who they can fire. So I left this underneath the article, which is linked to below. Failed city telling private businesses how to run themselves. Private businesses have no obligation to sacrifice for the good of the people / state. Private businesses should / will speak with their feet and leave jurisdictions that practice such economic fascism. So yeah, it is economic fascism with what's going on there. They're telling people in the hotel industry, like, well, if you fire people and you're going to rehire people, you have to rehire the people that have the most seniority. It's ridiculous. They know how to run a hotel. They know how to run a restaurant. No, they don't. They don't know how to run a government. And they are the government. And as you can see, I'm not in Baltimore right now. That is Bitcoin, baby. You don't have to be loyal. You don't have to sacrifice yourself for the city of Baltimore. Okay, now, and I did sacrifice myself for the city of Baltimore when I was living on Linden Avenue there. Oh yeah, we're trying to make this block better for the good of the city. Oh, there are all these people doing insane things out there. I could die. Someone did try to, someone attempted to rob me on the streets of Baltimore, and that was the final straw. Back on whatever day it was, August the 2nd of 2013, when I gloriously outran the muggers with the gun. What a glorious day when I conquered those low-life scum who hopefully, anyway, but I wasn't sticking around after that. I was like, I'm traveling the freaking world, and it was soon after that I bought Bitcoin. And that's how you turn something that so many people turn into negatives. So many people are like, and I can understand people, having nightmares about it. Someone you're walking on the street and someone two guys pull out a huge gun on you. That could affect the person in a negative way. But no, I made it a positive, baby. And I knew, no, I'm not sacrificing. This isn't happening again. This is not happening again. I won't get fooled again. Pound that like button. The Who. All right. Now, and I also made a promise to myself that day when that situation happened to me. That it didn't scare me, but I said to myself, I will never let my grandmother find out this happened to me. And she never found out, because it would be, it was someone of her age. She just died in 97, but I didn't want to put anyone through, she's such a warrior. Some people become such warriors. That's just their thing. Some ladies, when they're in the 90s, become such warriors. I couldn't let her know about that. Anyway, and none of my members know about it unless they have watched the show and they haven't brought it up to me. Now, don't tell them, please. Here's another huge Monday headline from CNN that was it just shows how low they have gone here. I mean, how many times? I mean, the White House press secretary tests positive for the virus. That was a huge headline they had after the president had passed. Who cares? That's newsworthy that this White House press secretary that you're jealous of because she's hot tested positive and she's not affected in any way by it. I mean, the only reason it's newsworthy is that everyone should know that a healthy, beautiful woman who gets this cold, nothing happens to her. But it's huge that you should be scared. It's all in scare print on CNN, and it works. It works. Oh, another important person has caught the virus. Oh my God, I've got to hide. I've got to stay safe. All right, and it is everywhere. It is everywhere, and people are just. It fuels. You know, some people might be on the verge of not being scared. But then they turn on the talking about it, and people are talking about how this player can't play baseball and how this NFL team has to delay their game till Tuesday because a healthy young 27-year-old has a cold. I mean, it's everywhere. And this baseball player has this mask on, and this college football coach has this mask hanging off his face, and he drooled a little, so now he's suspended. And I mean, and people are glued to the TV more than ever because they don't have jobs. So yeah, that it's so important in sports that these sports people are such wimps. Some of them are just such wimps. You think that you thought they were manly, but now you see they're just wimps. And not all of them. I don't want to, but plenty of them, from the announcers to the players to the coaches, are just virtue signaling about it. So when they are, and they're people's heroes, and they shouldn't be people's heroes, when they're scared, of course people are buying into it. Well, you know, the guy on the whatever team, I don't know his name, a team or anything. Oh, the guy on the Packers is sick. The guy on the Titans, so I better be scared too. Yeah. Whew. Just what did I want to say here? But I do like to see, in terms of athletic activity, people are out on the streets of Salt Lake City. They're instead of living through somebody else's athletic activity, and they're doing their own athletic activity without masks, and it's great. So there are plenty of people in the real world that are not affected, that want to maintain their health a natural way and aren't glued to their TVs or glued to their freaking recliners. All right. So last week, someone asked me about renouncing citizenship, and something that I forgot to say that I should have said is that despite everything that we've said about certain corners of the United States, whether it be in the government, whether it be in Baltimore City, whether it be in a certain political party, the United States right now, because there are 50 states and you can move to a different one if you want to, it's about the freest country right now in terms of the current events, all right? It's, I didn't like being in LA toward the end. I went to North Carolina. It was a pleasure. Here in Utah, it's even a bigger pleasure on a certain level, okay? So this is a reminder why you don't want to give up your United States citizenship. You know, people say, well, Adam, you can get Israeli citizenship pretty easily. And indeed, I can get that. I would not want to be stuck in Israel since March, okay? I wouldn't want to be living under what's going on in Israel with this virus since March. It's been ridiculous. And sure, it's beautiful there, and I have a lot of fun there. It's not too much fun there at all now, at all. Much less fun than the United States, okay? So, we're saying in Sweden, they're totally free. They're totally maskless. Well, I mean, you can go to South Dakota and have the same thing, okay, if you want to. And with Sweden, you can't get into Sweden now anyway. And this is what, we are stuck with. It's very hard to get rid of to renounce your United States citizenship. It costs money. It's a long process. And having the United States passport when things are normal again gets you into every darn country out there pretty easily also. It's a good thing to have. But the other thing is, I would not want to be in a situation where I'm not a citizen of the United States in the year 2020. I'm very, very, very happy that I am a citizen of the United States this year, that I've been able to do massive traveling, but within my own country, okay? Because I enjoy traveling. I would not want to be stuck in little Israel right now or some other little country out there with where there is no Bill of Rights, where there, it's really unfortunate what has gone on in some of these so-called free countries where they've, and it's bad what's going on in the United States too, how the Constitution has been ignored by many politicians. But there are still, we are the loudest in this country against this nonsense. If you take an average of all the people who are speaking up against this in the United States, the average citizen is the loud. I mean, at least the ones that speak up, we are the ones that are holding the line, okay, in the battle against this nonsense, all right? So, yeah, I'm real glad that I did not renounce my citizenship at a time like this. And this is an example of, why you don't want to do that if you already have it. I mean, there are so many people, and still the whole world, from what the media tells you, the whole world is against us. The whole world thinks we're idiots. Yet there are people that are willing to go through barbed wire, through Mexico, through the worst of the worst conditions to get to this country still with what's all going on. So think about it long and hard. Don't believe that that Chinese propaganda that's out there, or whatever you want to call it, communist propaganda from the media, whatever you want to call it. Do not believe it. Believe that people are still, with all their might, are willing to go through so much to get to this country, despite 200,000 people die. Yeah, it's trust me, this is the place to be. This is the place to be right now, United States of America. You don't have to be in California. You can go to another state. You can go to, and that we have 50 options here is unbelievable. It's unbelievably awesome. So let's not let it slip away. Keep on, and I'm just talking about speaking the truth, being a unique beast. This country was founded by unique beasts. And if you continue that tradition, whether it be in Bitcoin or whatever, it'll still stay pretty unique beastly, okay? It'll still stay pretty beastly. Pound that like button. It'll still stay pretty freaking elite. There's no other country I would rather be right now than the United States. And I have lost so much respect for Australia and New Zealand through this process to see what's gone on there. Because I've thoroughly enjoyed my time in Australia, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thought to myself, Australia is just like the United States, except it doesn't have Walmarts. It doesn't have as big, it's the retail isn't as big, but it's just as, but no, now I see. Now, when I see what's going on in frickin' in Melbourne, and it's just, it's insane. It's insane. And that the people do not speak up against it. Now, partially, they don't have the Second Amendment there. So again, renouncing my citizenship, that means I'm giving up like the one country on earth that's got something like the Second Amendment. You think long and hard about renouncing your citizenship, okay? Especially if you're a guy like me, I'm well off now. I mean, I've got Bitcoin. If you boil it down to the government's taking too much of my money, don't make money, and I don't make money. I don't have a high salary in terms of fiat at all. I've gotten Bitcoin over the year, and I don't sell it. Now, if you sell it, then you got to deal with the tax man and everything. But to me, I through this whole year, it's definitely been a lesson in okay, yeah, there's some states that have ridiculous taxation. You can always move to Florida, but I would rather still have my citizenship and deal with paying my taxes every year. It's fine, okay. Now it's well worth the Maryland taxes and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now. Ben Shapiro made a great point about Trump. Trump calls way too much attention to himself. And right now, if you're trying to win an election, you call no attention to yourself. He loves being the center of attention. It's so sickening because he is a narcissist. He is. You can say this, people. You don't have to be a blind word. He loves Trump. Trump is the most important thing to Trump. Okay, and okay, what he should do at this time is forget about that and let people actually look at the other candidates. If there was actual attention on Biden and Harris, oh my God, I don't see how they could win at all. But what keeps on happening, he wants to be the center of attention every moment of the day. And so people focus on some of the insane things he does. They're very easily able to blow it out of proportion. When you want to be the center of attention, you're going to get all sorts of scrutiny. Some of it isn't, he doesn't deserve all of it, but he brought it, half of it's lies or exaggerations, et cetera, but you want to be the center of attention. You want to be the big queen that everybody looks at. You want to be Brit Fit, the dancer, who was, I talked about on my show yesterday, who all the 80%ers have given her 500,000 views since yesterday. Yes, go to my show yesterday when I talk about Brit, the Bitcoin woman, who decided she was going to make a name for herself by dancing around and singing about Michael Singer, or Michael Saylor. Now I'm getting all sorts of names confused. And in the time between my shows, she's gotten 500,000 views on Twitter. I mean, that's beyond Bitcoin right there. I hope there are that many people on crypto Twitter, but I don't think there are that many people on crypto Twitter. But yeah, Bikini Babes work. Bikini Babes works. What are you going to say? No Bikini Babes here. And I did not retweet her, even though my friend Craig Shipp asked me to. I mentioned her on yesterday's show and gave you, this is an example of 80%erism, and you can see it went viral. The 80%ers did their job. 80%ers are good tools, and Brit is a nice person, I'm sure, and because she's friends with Craig, because Craig's a nice person. All right, now, and yeah, compete, don't complain. That's the way that she competes, and I'm not into destroying anyone who does something like that. As you watch yesterday's show, I'm repeating myself from yesterday's show. I'm going to go running soon, dudes. All right. Okay, I'm going to skip that. In 1960, this is from some guy named, he's an older guy, but he says, in 1960, both JFK and Nixon were younger than me. Today, Biden and Trump are the same age as my parents. Yeah, we really, well, the voting class skews older. So they're very comfortable with having someone that's in their age bracket be president. I'm not going to be ageist here, all right? But you can see, at least with Biden, that he's totally losing it in his late 70s. So, I mean, why do you want to have a leader of anything that's losing it due to brain-related issues? I mean, there's something to be said with youth. With that 1960 election, that 1960 election was quite a different one than this one. My God, the candidate's totally different. And he puts it in perspective with the age thing. All right. Last week, I forgot to share this National Review article. Stats hold a surprise. Lockdowns may have had little effect on the spread of the virus. It's not a surprise to us. Of course, they have no effect. The virus is going to virus, dude. You can't stop it. It's not that bad. All right. People just blow it out of proportion. Alistair Milne says, just here watching people lose their S because a man decided to take a ride in a car. That's a reference to the president when he got in his car and he had the virus and everybody said that was horrible. Oh God, I haven't even done the book review yet. Oh God, what time is it? Oh, it's only 48 minutes into. Okay, time for the book review. I read the book, Waiting for the Barbarians. It was written, I believe, in 1980 or maybe it was 82. And it happened to be at this Airbnb. And I read it in less than a week. It's small print and it's only 160 pages or something like that. I would read it before I went to sleep. And it's about, in the time of colonialism, if you want to call it, I guess the late 1800s is probably about, a empire has a outpost type of settlement that borders the barbarians, okay, the natives to the area. And they think they're having issues with the barbarians. They're very paranoid about the barbarians, okay? And the guy that's telling the story is within the government, and he starts interacting with the barbarians, to say the least. And he's been working there for 30 years. He's an old bureaucrat, and he's a womanizer. And I'll say this. It's not your typical, feel guilty about colonizing type of story. the lesson that it teaches is that paranoia and fear can lead you to do horrifying things, and that the torture is horrifying. And some of his descriptions of the smells that are involved with defecation and some gross aspects of body odor, very vivid. I enjoyed that. The descriptions of the torture, it's vivid. It's so that the book has strong imagery, has very strong imagery. So I recommend it, not for young people at all. Don't be a high schooler. You should definitely be in college. And yeah, it just, their fear, I mean, it leads to looting, torture, lawlessness, groupthink. And yet the book goes by very fast when it is describing the brutality, the scenes of brutality and the scenes of adventure on the frontier go by quick. There can be some slow parts. So I do recommend it. Was it my favorite one so far? It wasn't my favorite one so far. My favorite one was Butcher's Crossing so far. That was my favorite one. And what else do I want to say? But yeah, the virus, you can interpret the virus as today's people were in the story, the barbarians can do their thing, okay? But there's really, a virus isn't good. A virus isn't a good thing. No, a virus isn't a good thing. And people being, and then there's the question: who are the true barbarians in the story? I think you'll get it. I don't want to give away too much, but some native cultures aren't too fun, aren't the greatest things in the world. But if they're doing their own thing, you really shouldn't be worried about them too much. I mean, there should be a certain level of precaution around the culture that might not be in sync with your culture, okay? But if you become paranoid about them, then, what's paranoia lead to? Paranoia about the virus has led to similar things that paranoia about the natives have led to. So you read the book, you decide for yourself. It was a good book. And they're making it into a movie with Johnny Depp. And I saw I searched it out on my own on YouTube. I watched a little preview, and it was, I envisioned the main villain who Johnny Depp is playing to look the way Johnny Depp portrays him. So I was unique glasses. The main villain has unique sunglasses, and if you watch the preview for the movie, I don't need to watch the movie because I read the book, baby. I'm sure you cannot. The scenes of brutality that were in the book cannot be properly portrayed in a movie, or it would be worse than rated R. The movie would have to be worse than rated R, so for you to see what is described in the book. So they're not going to go that far. So yeah, the book can be pretty brutal sometimes, but life on the frontier can be pretty brutal when you've become incredibly paranoid. Now, two more things here. Okay. This guy, I retweeted something, nothing to worry about with the virus, and you still have guys that spout this nonsense. Agreed, obesity is our major health problem, but plenty of young, thin people, listen to this, plenty of young, thin, fit people without health problems have died from the virus. It's not just the flu. Plenty? Give me your numbers, dude. Give me just because you saw a picture of a pretty girl on CNN and you didn't read the whole thing to find out that she had asthma or that she was some other sickness that she had doesn't mean plenty of, again. And this is, so many people think this is true, that plenty of young, thin, and fit people without health problems have died from the virus. And when I think about young, thin, fit people without health problems, I think about 27-year-olds, okay? That match that description, or 22-year-olds. How many 22-year-olds and 27-year-olds or whatever that fit those just perfect health, No asthma, nothing like that. No blood disorders. They aren't alcoholics. They aren't drug addicts. They are young, thin, fit. No, have died from that. Okay? Probably less than have died from the flu. Okay? Or less than have died from some strange infection. Rare things happen to there's all sorts of little sicknesses, big sicknesses out there. And on occasion, there are exceptions, okay, where perfectly healthy people die. That is the risk of life, okay? That the exception proves the rule. I remember learning that in Mr. Wright's biology class. The exception proves the rule, all right? And dude, the media is focusing on the smallest of little exceptions, and you, dude, who replied to this with this nonsense plenty, have fallen for it. There is no plenty out there, okay? Plenty. There's no, to what you described, there's no legitimate risk of someone changing their whole lifestyle because of what's going on there. Do you change your whole darn lifestyle to be scared every year because of the flu? No, you do not. Most of the people you described have no desire to get a flu shot, okay? Yet they have been scared to desire this untested vaccine that's going to come out very soon that will cause many more people to die. Many more healthy people will die from an untested vaccine than will die from what's going on right now, okay? So do not accept the new normal, people. That's it. I skipped some stuff. Oh, that's not it, because I'm going to see if there are questions. Have you adjusted your diet during the virus times? No, I have not. Not at all. Not one bit. There's no reason for me to do so. I was living the utmost healthy diet beforehand. One of the simple things you can do is eat one of these. I try to eat one of these every day anyway. Okay, it's an onion. You've seen me pull these out of when I was in whatchamacallit, in Asheville. I would pull one up. I have a lot of them. I always have a lot of them. These are apparently good for for boosting your immune system. I haven't tried to boost my immune system any more so than I usually do. I try to live at the highest level of health no matter what is going on. So there is no reason for me to change my diet at all. For a lot of people, this is a great time to be inspired to do so. So you don't want to take any time off from work, from getting a flu, from getting a cold, whatever. You want to be the healthiest possible person you can. So I take a positive approach. If you did get freaked out at first, but then you did some research into natural health without someone shooting something into your arm, that's awesome. That's awesome. But I have not personally changed anything in my life. I really haven't. Do you watch any sports beside baseball? Cass, a very interesting question. I didn't even get to watch any baseball this year. I checked the score. So the question is, do you follow any sports beside baseball, I should say. So I did follow baseball still. I still followed the scores. I don't follow any other sports. But with the Ravens, I used to obviously follow them very closely before the whole Kaepernick thing in 2016 when I was in Vegas on September 11th, which was opening day. And I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, I'm not watching the Ravens this whole year. That's it. I'm giving up the NFL. And so a lot of people eventually did that this year. I was doing it in 2016, but no, I do not watch or follow the Ravens. I do not know if they won today. I try, but I always, because I read the news, eventually it does come, I do get informed that they won. Now, and I've said throughout all this of my boycotting of the NFL, that if the Ravens make the AFC title game or the Super Bowl, I will watch those two games. That I will watch. But no, I do not wait. And when I gave up the Ravens in 2016, in September 2016, it coincided with major Bitcoin growth on my part. I really maximized my time in such a more productive way after I gave up the Ravens. So no, I do not follow any other sports. I know who's in the title games and everything like that, obviously, but I don't check specific scores. When I was younger and stuff, every single sport I would know, every college football game, every this, every that, I would know so much. Now it's just like, I know the Orioles have a couple players that are going to be good eventually next year. I think they'll be better next year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I know who's in the ALCS and in the NLCS. And I think I'm glad the Yankees are not in the ALCS, but no other sports. And again, I encourage people, there's a time for a pastime. You can have your pastime. It's not a sin or anything like that. But if it's like 4 sports you're obsessed with, 3 sports, 2 sports, you're saying, cut it in half or something. Learn as crypto over college, crypto over college football. That's one of my movements that I'm trying to, I don't know what that means. Someone says, guess Adam needs to do a McAfee. No, I would never. That's horrifying. He's a horrifying individual. Please get Robert Breedlove and Parker Lewis on your show. Okay. I mean, they pretty much. What can I ask them that you don't know? I mean, I've talked about Robert Breedlove, how I think he really made it seem like the whole entire world is going to understand how economically important Bitcoin is, and thus fiat will be destroyed. And I don't agree with that. I think he's a good writer, and he can make it seem so romantic. Bitcoin's going to take over the world, and everyone's going to wake up from their trance. No. The trance will continue eternally. There will always be the 80%, Robert. But yeah, I guess it'd be cool to have them on the show. I think it would be cool to have them on the This Week in Bitcoin show, so they can interact with other people, because there's so many interviews with these guys out there. I think the This Week in Bitcoin show provides a very unique environment for all these different personalities to interact with me and to interact with each other, and I really do have a lot of fun when the This Week in Bitcoin show is live. I'm having a blast. Planning it out can be a pain in the tuchlis, though. It really can be a pain in the tuchlis. I'm just seeing if there are any other questions there. All right. I hope I didn't skip any questions. Guys, retweet it, spread the word. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day wherever you are. Don't waste it on the NFL too much. Pound that like button. I'm going running. I'm being productive. I'm staying healthy. I'm going to eat one of these onions tonight. I can guarantee you that. And I eat it like a fruit. I literally eat it like that. That's how used to them I've become. I bite right into it. I'm Adam Meister, BitcoinMeister, Disrupt Meister. See you guys tomorrow, probably. See ya. Bye-bye. Thank you all.